Hey guys, it's BW and we're back out in the garage. I think today we're going to start working on our Nova again. We want to start sectioning these floor patches. You can see right here in the front they have a piece of tin riveted down, and I just started to take the rivet heads off, and I want to see if I could peel this back, and we're going to start looking for the braces to where we can make a cut, and we're going to section in those floor pans that we have out in the shed. Okay, I think we're definitely going to have to do a patch here in the front. We're going to section a piece in, and then over here where the back seat area, you guys can see it's really bad right here, so we'll have to section in another piece right here. Everywhere else it's good, and it's the same thing on both sides. The inside rockers look really good, surprisingly, so see if we can see anything. And I started to pull the nail or the rivet heads come right up right there. I think we just want to keep taking off the rivet heads, and we'll keep prying it back, and they'll pop right out of there for us. That should do it. There's somebody else's repair and what they had underneath. It looks like we're gonna have to go up into the toe board a little bit. I might have to make a piece. I mean, I know the floorboard, I'm gonna go pull it out here in a minute. I know the floorboard comes up about 4 inches, but I don't know that that's gonna be enough. It's really soft right here and gone. The good news is, look at this inner quarter. All right, I think if we can get all these spot welds off, I think it's all right. I mean, it's solid. It's rock solid, actually. I was surprised. I mean, the outside rocker's gone, but that inside rocker, so far so good. So far so good. All right, guys, well, I just kind of nibbled at it a little bit. We got the main rust stuff out. It's still a little rusty up here on the toe board, but you can see, like, this is the main structure for the car right here, and the floor was spot welded right through here, and you can still see some of the spot welds, which, I mean, it's good up in here, and I actually got to weld this back up. I sliced into it a little bit, no big deal, but we're gonna have to cut all this bad stuff out. We'll make a little patch, and it's actually spot welded right to the inner rocker right there. It's like, I was looking at it, and it was like, the metal's so rusty. You know how whenever it gets real rusty, it's all sandwichy. It looks like it's like in layers. Well, that's what we got right here. So I'm going to try to meticulously get that off, and then we'll make a little patch, fix that, and then we'll decide how high up we want to go on this toe board, and how high up. I mean, I want to go on the tunnel and all that stuff. I actually just cut around and used a line from that galvanized patch just for now, just to kind of follow that along. And then we got to chisel all this off where we're spot welded to the inner rocker. I'm telling you guys, I am impressed with these inner rockers. I know I mentioned it once before, but so far so good. But we're gonna have to fix this inner, because this is the main structure of the car. But right up here, it's really good. It's just right here. And man, we had a little leaf fire right there. There was a couple leaves and like them little spinny things from trees trapped in there, and the plasma cutter got it. Ooh, I smell like I've been like burning leaves all day. That's what the inside of the car smells like. All right, so it's getting dusk, so I'm just gonna clean up for today. There's the only thing that was left of the floorboard, guys. It was all packed. There's not much. There's a lot more missing than there is right there. But I have the patch sitting over here. So we'll throw that out. But I figure I'm gonna cut this out somewhere in here, then we'll lay it in there and decide how high up we want to come on the tunnel and how high up we want to go into the toe board. Like I said, the pan does go up a little bit, so we'll be all right there. And I'm guessing this seam right here is right where we were just looking at, where it's welded to the inner structure of the car. So we'll work on it tomorrow, and we'll see what we get. We'll try to get it fixed up. All right, that's what I got right now. All right, guys, what's the next day? I opened up the door, had a puddle of water here. You'd be like, and there was a puddle of water right there. You'd be like, well, the floor's open. Yeah, well, there's a puddle of water right there too. I think we're leaking from our windshield seal. Maybe it has something to do with this mud puddle right here. I don't know. But we started, the only thing I did was I ran a couple drills. I drilled the first 3 spots I could see, and trying out and reviewing my new Ingersoll Rand air chisel. And I reviewed it for my Amazon, and I'm going to put a link to in the description down below. You can go over and check out my Amazon store. All right. So anyway, we're going to see how we can. I only drilled the first 3, and then I did one without drilling, and it seemed like it popped it off. It's really strong, so let's see what we got here. I'm taking it right off. You guys get the gist. All right, guys. Well, I felt like this was a good time to bring everybody in. I just trimmed the pan down, and then I just kind of laid it in here and white lined it out, and it's just like kind of like roughing it in. I'm just feeling my way through the job. So now I'll just pull this back out, and that shows where the pan can go. All right. I think I'd like to lower it down a little bit along the tunnel for sure. Back here on the toe board, I mean, it's really solid behind the gas pedal, and even right here is good. It's just a little pitty right here, so we could come down a little bit. You know, we don't need the whole thing, so we'll come down just a little bit. But I wanted to do that so I knew what was going on here. You guys can see that brace has to get trimmed back. What happens is this actually goes over and attaches to the inside rocker right here. I got it separated. You see that little mark right there, that little hole. Well, that's not a rust hole. I got a little carried away with my new air chisel. But that's all right, man. All right, so what we're gonna do now is I want to cut this out and start to hand make a patch piece and weld it back in here and reattach it to the inside rocker panel. And that way we can put some spot welds back up through here, as you can see, where they belong here, and they belong here and here. You know, it needs to get reattached to the floor to help stiffen things up. All right, guys, it's getting dark, so I figured I'd bring you in real quick. I didn't even wire brush or clean this up yet, but we put this patch panel in for the main structure. I did not tie it to the rocker yet because we're not sure where the patch panel is going to come in. I think it comes in behind there and goes right on up and over. So I left it off of the inner rocker for now. I think it's going to all get tied together at once, and I'm really going to be happy with it. All right, this was really roddy, and we got it all out. So I think the next thing to do tomorrow after work is I'll lay the patch panel in here. I'm going to final cut it and fit it. Okay, and we'll cut out all the extra metal we're not going to use, get it out of the way. Then I'm going to paint this rusted area with rust converter. We're going to let that sit 24 hours, and then we'll come in, lay the patch panel in, and weld it out. Not going to be a big deal. That's my plan. I'm really happy with the way this come out. It's going to be nice and solid. All right, pick this up tomorrow, guys. All right, guys, yesterday before the sky opened up, I laid the pan in there, and I used a plasma cutter and cut through the floor and the pan at the same time so that it's a perfect fit, and it come out really nice. All right, I just got to clean up the slagged edges. It looks like there's a big gap there. I just got to pick up on that a little bit when we tack it, and it'll be fine. All right, and when I had it out, I went ahead and painted rust converter up in there, and then before we put this pan back in permanently, I'll just spray whatever spray paint I have up in there just to coat over it. But we went after it pretty good, and it came out pretty decent. So my next move is to clean all these edges up on the pan and on the car, and then I'll get it tacked in. And once I do that, I'll bring you guys back in to check it out. All right, guys, well, daylight is long gone. It's about 8 o'clock, 8:15. It's about 32 degrees now. It's getting cold, so I got the pan more than halfway in. I'll finish it up maybe tomorrow, weather permitting, day after. We'll see. I'll bring you guys back in the daylight when you can really see what's going on, but we got it a good piece in. Well, you guys can see it's 36 and raining again. Tomorrow it's supposed to go back up into the upper 50s and be nice, so we'll get back on the pan tomorrow, I guess. And then we'll start cutting out the back part of the pan. I'll meet you guys out in the shop in a minute. All right, guys. Well, as you see, it was freezing cold and it's raining. Yesterday it was like 55. Tomorrow it's going to be 57. Right now it's 36 and it's raining. It's miserable and cold. So I'm just in the shop looking around. I'm looking at the 55, planning some stuff out. I bought these poly bushings for the body mounts. I was talking to Mike from Fuel Fire Garage, cool guy. Check out his channel. He's a great guy. Good friend of mine anyway. So, and I was thinking about aluminum, and I was debating between poly and aluminum. We talked about it. He said poly. I agree. From what I understand, the aluminum just tends to crack at some point. And, you know, these are too. Now, I'm also looking at the roll bar job that I did here. I love the job. The roll bar looks great. The one thing I'm really questioning is these plates. Because this is a full frame car. I've done extensive reading on this stuff. And the full frame car, you take the roll bar right to the frame. We did that front and back. So these plates were like overkill. But another thing it did, guys, is it married the body to the frame. Think about it. I can't lift the body up to change my bushings. The bushings on the car are rubber right now. They won't last a couple months. A hammering on this thing, I would be surprised if they lasted that long. They'd just tear themselves apart, and then this would start tearing itself apart. So I'm thinking I may want to just get rid of the plates. Some people will say, no, no, no. Other people will be like, oh, okay, whatever. But just to show you guys, again, we're welded, or roll bar is welded to the frame. We're gusseted and everything. Oh, and by the way, I have gussets cut and I'm ready to put them in the back too for the back bar to the angle iron. You know, I just want everything as strong as possible. But I think the plate itself is overkill. So I'm still thinking about it. I may actually see if I can slide these in. If I can, maybe I do leave them. You know, it's a nice, neat job. The welds are fantastic. They're probably a little too good. I'll be mad at myself taking them off, you know. I don't know. Well, I'm still thinking about it. But anyway, my buddy Kevin's coming over Saturday. We're going to scope out the brake lines, you know, the ones that I nicked up. And see if I got to order some extra material. We're going to make sure we get a material list so I have everything here, because we are going to move the brake to the outside of the frame rail. I was reading about that, and also the fuel line. That's what the tracks want to see. Just think, you know, if your drive shaft lets go, you don't want to spew those fluids everywhere. So we're going to move everything to the outside of the frame, and for that's what we're looking at. So that's coming up. I also got the metal. I'm going to start, like I talked about in the last 55 video, we're going to get this cabin sealed off from the trunk. I think I'm going to make the metal removable though, just in case someday I ever need to get into the back. I don't want to, you know, have it where like if my popper stopped working or something. Now, how am I going to get in there, especially if my switch is in the keyhole for the battery? We're still looking at everything, trying to figure it all out. I hope you guys are entertained. I'm trying, man, but I'm also trying to get my project work done. Also, it's like, you know, I want to get this driver's side squared away. This is the back pan for the driver's side. I got to cut that to size for the Nova. We're all over the place. I'm all over the map. Look at my poor tractor. I got it apart right now, you know. I had to take the seat off. Check this out. It's like my yard out there is a mess, you know. We feed the squirrels. We probably go through 2 bags of peanuts a week. We feed the birds. We go through about a 40 pound bag, about 20 pounds a week for bird seed. So my yard looks like a barroom floor where they just feed you the peanuts and you break them up and throw them on the floor. So even in the wintertime, I got to mulch things up. Well, I was riding along mulching things up. My dog left his ball in the yard. I lean over off the seat and the tractor just cuts off. Now you would think, okay, BW, it's just the safety switch for the seat. Well, that might be bad, but I took and I was like, well, it won't crank, so the battery's dead. I put our new charger on it. It tried charging it for 15 minutes, and then the alert come up, said bad battery, and it didn't even have 3 volts. So I'm like, okay, no big deal. I get on Amazon, I order us a new battery. Piece of cake, problem solved. Nope. I put it in, the exact same symptom. There's nothing. So that's either the switch or the solenoid. Now I could test the solenoid real easy if my tester was here. You know, if you got the battery hooked up, the solenoid, when you turn the key over, should have 12 volts going out. If it's not going out, you either got a bad ground or the solenoid's bad. Odds are it's bad. So I don't know which one it is. It could be the solenoid, could be the seat switch, because I did lean off the switch when the tractor cut off. I don't know, you know, mystery. Maybe I buy them both if they're cheap enough. I think the solenoid's like $15. If it's just $15, I'll buy one. Who cares, you know? And the switch for the seat, I'll check out how much that costs. If it ain't too bad, maybe I'll change them both. It's got to be one or the other. Watch, I'll buy them both, put them on there, and it'll be the ignition control for the switch or something. That's my kind of luck. But I need my tractor. I ain't pushing at my age, I can tell you guys that. Plus I gotta mulch up my yard. But anyway, I'm trying to mix the content between the Nova and the 55. Try to keep things fresh. Try to keep you fresh. Try to keep me fresh. Have a good time. But when it's raining like this, we're forced inside. So we're gonna do stuff on the 55. I've got a couple videos started on that. Like I said, my buddy Kevin's gonna be coming over. We're gonna try to block off the trunk like we talked about, and I'm telling you, I'm doing soul searching about these plates. All right. We'll think about it and decide what we want to do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it, as always. I'm sorry we had to end it. It's like, wait, BW, you're not done with the floor pan. Well, the weather's telling us what we could do and when we could do it. It looks like we're going to finish that tomorrow. All right. So until next time, take care, everybody.